loves, and thank you for joining me. It's Kirsten, and today we're doing like a long weekend reading vlog. I'm super excited for what I'm going to be reading. For this video, I actually let my Patreons decide. They had 3 different emoji options, and based on those emojis would decide what books I was going to be reading. So the different book options were The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers by J.R.R. Tolkien, A Sorceress Comes to Call by T. Kingfisher, and The Cat Bride by Charlotte Tierney. And it's actually The Cat Bride that won, which I'm so excited about. I have to admit, I think if I had just done the titles, then it probably would have been a very tight race between these two. But because I did it with emojis, I am so excited. So this one is a book I picked up randomly from my local bookshop. I'd never heard of it before. It was just sat there and I was kind of intrigued by the cover. Had a little read on the back and thought, yeah, why not? When I went to go and pay for this book, I thought, while I'm waiting, let me go check Goodreads, and oh my god, it only had 3 ratings, and I don't think it's gone up by much since then. But I'm really intrigued by this one. This is actually a horror book. It's set in 1995 in a really sticky summer. We've had 16 years prior to that summer, there was this tiger lynx hybrid at a small moorland zoo which escaped, and now 16 years later we're following Laudie and her mama, who are forced to move back to this zoo where her gran lives, and maybe this lynx is still out and about. I'm really intrigued by this one. I don't know, something about it really caught to me in the bookshop, and I think I'm going to really like it, so hopefully I do. It's under 300 pages. This is the book I'm going to be reading, and hopefully it lives up to the hype that I've got for it. Like, I have not heard anyone talking about this book. It could be a hidden gem, which I always love a good hidden gem. So that's what we're going to be reading. As for what we're doing in this video, it's going to be a bit of a busy one. This is the last video before I go away on holiday, and I've got quite a bit I need to do. By the time you're seeing this, I'm already on holiday. I'm in Thailand having a wonderful time. Currently, this is my weekend before I go there, and yeah, there's quite a bit I need to do. I need to pack, which I hate doing. If you've been on my channel for a while, you know I hate packing. Also, my birthday, so me and my partner are going out for lunch. He's taking me to my favourite Japanese patisserie. I'll probably have a little wander around the bookshops. I mean, mainly the holiday is for my birthday, so I'm probably not going to get loads, but I will definitely have a look. I love it. There is something about going to a bookshop on your birthday that is just the best feeling ever. So I'm going to be doing that, and yeah, other than that, I just got videos to film and edit. I'm pretty up to date. I'm pretty impressed with myself. So there's a few things I need to do, but yeah, I'm really excited. I'm in such a hyper mood because I'm in anticipation of the fact that I'm going on holiday, and yeah, we're just gonna get things done. But I'm so intrigued. Should we read the first sentence together? I feel like we should. Do you ever find it where it's so fun to go into a bookshop, to see a cover that really intrigues you and just to go with it, even though you haven't heard anyone talking about it? Because I think there's something so magical about that. I guess it's the nostalgia of how it used to be when I was a kid, going to the library, and like before BookTube and BookTok and all of that, like just going and having to just do it based on synopsis. It was just really fun. And it's been a while since I've picked up a book just based on synopsis, not based on other people's reviews, so I'm really excited for it. But okay, that first sentence, let's go. Inside the wire of the lynx enclosure, Mama is almost my age, 16. Okay, I'm just going to continue because that sounds interesting. She sits on a low platform in the arm of a beech tree, wearing a long deep red velvet dress over a pair of Wellington boots. She tightens a chaplet of flowers upon her thick head of dark hair and flicks a veil dulled with dry mud wide beneath her slim shoulders. Yeah, I'm just intrigued. Who has actually blurbed this one? I don't think I recognize anyone that's blurbed this. Well, hopefully this really will be a hidden gem. Imagine if it's another 5-star read. That would be so good. Okay, right. Thank you so much for joining me for this video. I hope you're all doing really well. Grab yourselves a beverage. Let me know what you've been currently reading and up to, and I will check back in when I've started reading The Cat Bride. So I'm loving this so much. Like, just look at the annotations. Like, this is insane if it will show you properly. But like, I'm obsessed. I'm loving this so much. Okay, so I'm up to page 97 and we're on day 4. So there aren't chapters, instead it's all done in days. And we're following Laudi as she goes to this zoo. So day 1 is them arriving at the zoo, day 2 is the second day at the zoo, and etc. Now, when we first meet Laudi, we know that she's been ill. We don't know what she's been ill with. We immediately get the feeling that the situation between her and her mum is not exactly right. It's a little bit weird. Gives you a very uneasy feeling about the relationship between them, and as it progresses you can really see how this is not good. It is a very toxic, abusive relationship that Laudi is in with her mum, and yeah, it gets twisted. So I want to say to you, check your trigger warnings, but there's so few reviews that I don't think there are many trigger warnings. But definitely a big one in this is generational trauma with abuse in that, so just bear that in mind when you're going into this book. Laudi is constantly told by her mom that she's not allowed these flights of fancy, that she's got to stick to reality, and Laudi herself is a very unreliable narrator. She does say how she can't always tell the difference between reality and her imagination. It's just it's really good. I mean, I love it. I love an unreliable narrator. So this is all from Laudi's perspective. The way the chapters are, even though they're quite long, you do get these little chapter breaks, and the chapter breaks sometimes put you in the past. So Laudi will think about something that happened in the past, and it's various different things, but all of it has this just tone of unease throughout the book, which I think is so well done. Like, I really like the atmosphere in this book. It's very, I mean, it's gothic, it's unsettling, it's just really good. It almost feels kind of claustrophobic in a way with the heat and everything, and yeah, I really like it. Anyway, we're arriving at this zoo. The reason why we're going to the zoo is Laudi's mum grew up there, and their grandma, Laudi's grandma, still lives there. Now this zoo has fallen into disrepair because when Laudi's mum was younger, there was a Tinx, a tiger lynx hybrid, that got out of the zoo and attacked someone and then was put down, and as a result the zoo just kind of like fell apart. Except people in the village still think that this Tinx is around, that it is still out there doing things. They believe that the grandma has control over this Tinx and sets it on the villagers, which is so interesting to see how this fear and paranoia, how this creature isn't around anymore, and yet the town use it as reason for everything that goes wrong. Oh, lambs have gone missing, it's the Tinx, and all of this stuff. I like it because at the end of each day you also get like a little segment that's either facts around big cats, or there was a newspaper article around is the Tinx real, and it actually comments on people from the town kind of use this fear and how it's grown and things, so now it's almost like a folklore story in of itself around this Tinx, and I really like it. This book, it reminds me of The Lamb minus the cannibalism, because that really shows the relationship between Laudi and her mum, and then we have almost like We Have Always Lived in the Castle vibes with how the town treats this family, and I think it works really well. It's a really good combination. Like, I can't believe people are sleeping on this. But let me go through the annotations, like my tabbing system, and then I can also give you a little bit more in depth into what's going on, because honestly my thoughts are a bit scattered because I just love this, and that's all I want to say. Again, this is not going to be a book that I'm going to recommend to everyone, but I will say if you liked The Lamb, give this one a try. We'll just go through as I was putting the tabs in. So we started off with Orange with quotes that I love. There's been a few that I just think are so well done, especially, oh, I'll get into that bit actually because that ties into another tab. But yeah, I just think some of the way it's written is really well done. It's not super lyrical, but it's definitely well written. I will say it also is a very slow paced book, so just keep that in mind. The next one is Blue, and this is for fairy tale and folklore. Laudi loves fairy tales and folklore. She is obsessed with fairy tales. She is constantly making references to different fairy tales. She sees herself as a princess locked in a tower, mainly because she is actually locked away in the attic room constantly by her mum. Certain things that she says her mum's done, I'm just like, no, that's not right. So you can really see why Laudi feels like she is a princess locked away in a tower. But one particular fairy tale that is constantly referred to is the White Cat, and this is actually a real fairy tale by, it's a French author. Let me get it. After reading the pages that I read, I looked into the White Cat to see, is this an actual fairy tale, because it isn't one I'd heard of before, but it is. It was written by Madame de Aulnay, published in 1698. Yeah, so it's not a fairy tale I have heard of before. However, there is a YouTube channel called A Bit Late, and they do videos narrating different fairy tales, and they have one on the White Cat, so I've got that saved to my watch later list because I'm definitely going to be watching that. I've subscribed because I love fairy tales and folklore, so the fact that we have a channel that is dedicated to telling us these different tales, oh, I'm so obsessed. So I'm really pleased that I found that. But yes, the White Cat is mentioned frequently throughout this book, and also more recently there's been a mention of the Cat Bride, which was a little bit harder to find because it's not just this book, it's actually a Japanese folk tale which was hard to find, so I don't know how accurate it is, but the tale that I found online is the same tale that Laudi's grandmother says to her, and there is a beautiful quote all caught up in that. Let me get that, just like an out of context quote. So her grandma is saying, "It's a woman's lot. We're never what anyone really wants. The beautiful woman is a fairy tale. It's not the same for men. They can be any old shape. Venus changes us into beautiful women," she said. "But when we marry, our husband realizes we still catch mice with our hands and teeth. He's horrified, and Venus is angry with us. But we never ask to be turned into beautiful women. We want to be cats." Like, this is what I mean, like that sort of writing I just love. So that is a really good example of how we've got the folklore tale being told, but then made into this lesson that the grandma's trying to teach Laudi, and I just, oh, I love it. Okay, moving on from the fairy tale stuff, we have this dark red, and I'm using this for the really unusual toxic relationship between Laudi and her mum. Now, in all honesty, I could do a whole separate tab just for Laudi's mum because she is bizarre. She's clearly dealing with this trauma on the past. She is paranoid about cats. She's OCD about cleaning after them. She's constantly talking about the various different diseases and things that they carry and the different things that they can cause, and she is so paranoid, and she's kind of pushing this onto Laudi. So you could definitely do a whole separate tab just around her and her mental state because it's a bit unhinged. But I decided to do one on that weird relationship between her and Laudi and how it is just so toxic. As I've already mentioned, like, it is really dark, so just be aware of that going into this. And then we have the last tab that I'm using. It's actually kind of awkward to see because it's actually the exact same color as these pages, which is hilarious. Kind of like weird greeny yellow faded color. That is for Laudi and her supposed illness. We're told Laudi is ill. We're told how her mum is doing all these things to look after her, and how the doctor, well, kind of contradicted some of the stuff that they were saying, like cutting her hair. Like, her mum cut Laudi's hair, like, all off, like shaved it all completely off, and the doctor was like, you know, you shouldn't really do this, that, you know, leave her. If she's happy with her long hair, let her keep it. And the mum's like, no, I can't look at it, I can't deal with this, it makes me too sad, and shaves it off. And I'm like, what? Laudi didn't even get a choice. And like a lot of things, like Laudi will mention, oh, the doctor said I should, you know, do the things that make me happy, get back to normal life as fast as possible, and then her mum's doing the complete opposite of everything. And you have to wonder, is Laudi even ill? But there are also moments where Laudi is waking up and having no memory of how she got there. She's naked, she's got dirt over her, the balcony doors are open when they were closed before she went to bed, and she doesn't remember opening them. So there are some weird inconsistencies that I've just been keeping track of, which I've put with the same tab. Another thing to note is Laudi as a character, she is 16 years old, but she reads like she's 10 years old because she is kept young by her mum, and she has to act in this way, act more helpless than what she is to keep her mum happy. And it's just that, yeah, it's unsettling, it's uncomfortable to read. And on top of all of that, we have the cats, and there are so many cats. They are everywhere. I'm just really enjoying it. I think this book is really good, really underrated. Like the fact that I did another check on Goodreads to see have the ratings gone up. There's now 8 ratings, but on Storygraph I think there's only like 3 or 4, which by the way I should mention I have actually got Storygraph now. I'm gonna update my description so that it has a Storygraph link instead of Goodreads, because I was just not using Goodreads, but I'm really liking Storygraph. I think, I don't know, I tried it before and couldn't get on with it, but I think because I'm in the mood to track everything this year, I'm wanting to give the star ratings and stuff, I just think Storygraph's really working for me. So if you do want to have a look at Storygraph, again it'll be linked below. This lighting is going all over the place. It's a really sunny day here, which is beautiful, but also not so great for lighting. But yeah, no, I'm loving this book. I think it's really good. I think it's very underrated. It works as a literary horror, like I say, along the veins of something like The Lamb and We Have Always Lived in the Castle, just without cannibalism. But also there are some disturbing moments because you have that generational trauma. The way Laudie's mum is very horrible, to be quite frank. She treats her own mum really poorly. She treats Laudie terribly, and you know, she's just not nice. But you can also tell like there have been little moments and comments where she's dealing with the trauma of her own past. So I think it does a really interesting look at generational trauma and how, you know, you end up falling into the same patterns as how you've been treated, and it's hard to break out of that. But also Laudie herself is a very interesting character. Like, she's obsessed with fairy tales and folklore. She mentions a lot of things. She talks a lot about things that happen in her daily life, and she's like, that's like a fairy tale. And just how she is, I really like it. I'm enjoying this a lot, so I can't wait to get back to reading this. This has been great. I'm really hoping it stays this way. Currently, at this first chunk of the book, I would say 5 stars, hands down, really liking it. And we'll just have to see if the rest of the book continues that way. I'm a bit hesitant because it has happened where I've been loving books at the start and then it just hasn't held up. It feels a bit like, a recent one I read is Sour Cherry. Feels a little bit like that in terms of incorporating a fairy tale within a story. And that, again, is something I absolutely love in my books, is when we have an actual fairy tale used within a story and having it pulled apart a little bit and just seeing how the author interprets that and builds a whole different story around it. Like, I love things like that. So yeah, this is great. That was a really long update, sorry. Before I go, I have some book mail. This is something I ordered from Books Please, which I do have an affiliate code. I haven't mentioned them well. To be fair, I haven't done an order from them this year. This is the first one. But Books Please, if you don't know what they are, they're a bit like what Book Depository was like. It has a flat shipping rate and the prices generally match Amazon, if not better them. The only thing I will say is the shipping is slow, so just bear that in mind. I mean, I can only talk about UK. Considering Books Please is based in the UK and I live in the UK, it still takes them about 2 weeks to get my order out, so just bear that in mind. If you're wanting books quickly, Books Please is not for that, but if you don't need them straight away, then you can get a good deal and you can use my discount code. Let's get into it, shall we? I've done enough waffling about that. I'm so excited for these, and you always get a bunch of bookmarks, loads and loads of bookmarks thrown in. Okay, so this is basically just manga. Apothecary Diaries Volume 2. I always mispronounce apothecary. I struggle with that word so much, so sorry, I always mispronounce that. But yeah, this is Volume 2. Absolutely love this. Then I also got The Promised Neverland Volume 7, another manga series that I am absolutely loving and wanted to get another one of. Oh, and also Volume 8 of Promised Neverland. I really like that series. I should probably mention what they're about. Okay, so Apothecary Diaries, we're following Momo, who is kidnapped, put into the Rear Palace to help out and be like a washer girl, but then she's very good at like solving things and stuff, and it's like basically mini mysteries that Momo gets tangled up in. Promised Neverland, we're following this children's orphanage. Everything seems absolutely wonderful until some of the children find out the dark, deadly truth about this orphanage, and it goes very dark from there, but I really like this. And then with Apothecary Diaries, I also got the light novel because the light novel actually came first. I'm so excited for this. I've actually never read a light novel before, so I'm really excited to see how I find it. But this, because this came first, I knew I definitely wanted to be trying this, because then from this they then adapted it into the anime and the manga, which I love it. I love it so much. I'm very, very excited to be reading that. And then finally I actually got something for my partner. which is Solo Leveling Volume 9, because that's where we're up to, which is a manga series that he has read the entirety of several times and is one that I have started reading. And Solo Leveling, if you don't know, it is about this guy called Jinwoo who is the weakest hunter of all humankind. So basically there are these portals that open up into dungeons where there are monsters. You have to defeat the monsters before they break out of the dungeons and cause havoc. Jinwoo is a hunter and he is the weakest of all humankind until one particular thing happens, and then it's gonna go from there. I really like this as well. So yeah, this is my little manga and light novel haul. I am very excited for all of these. Like genuinely, this didn't even cost that much, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, that is everything. So I'm going to go get on with my day, and I will check back in when I have read some more of The Cat Bride. The next day and it is time to get packing. So I am going to attempt to talk to you about the last, I think it was like 80 pages that I read of The Cat Bride while I get my packing done. This is probably going to be a little bit chaotic because I will interrupt myself. Yeah, I'm up to page 175 and I am in the middle of day 8. Been just over a week since Laudi has arrived at the zoo. Been some interesting developments. It was a bit of a slower chunk, I won't lie. Definitely the pacing slowed down, but I kind of don't mind that because we were learning things about Laudi's mum and her grandma, that relationship between the two of them, and you do not know who to trust. Their stories are contradicting each other. Sometimes they'll say something and you'll be like, oh, that's really weird and unusual, and then a day later they're contradicting what they've said themselves. So you really don't know who to trust, who's telling the truth. It is a bit all over the place. Sorry, I'm just trying to sort out my shoes. So these are the shoes that I'm taking on holiday. I love these, they're so fun and bright. However, I am also taking these just in case I want to change. I don't think I'm going to be wearing these much because we tend to do quite a lot of walking when we're in Thailand, and these will be a lot more comfy. I like having the option, why not? So I've got bags to put my shoes in for the flight, and that's another thing, right? I really find packing quite like annoying because I'm not the sort of person that's going to take time to pack things neatly because it's going to get messed up anyway. So I tend to put a lot of my stuff in bags. I have loads of these bags from a few years ago and I kept them all because I thought they're actually very handy before I decided, you know what, I hate Shein as a company, but their bags that their clothes came in are really handy for things like this because there is no point to me in folding up all of my dresses nicely and neatly for them to get messed up on the flight because your suitcase is going to get thrown around. So instead I just pack them in loads of bags like this, and that way I know they're not going to get messed up, they're all there, and also I just hate packing, so it just means I can just shove them inside a bag, chuck it in the suitcase, and that's the idea. Anyway, why did you need to know that? I don't know. But the relationship between Laudie's mum and her grandma, seeing that, the generational trauma, that's what this last bit of the book has been about, is seeing that. So there's been quite a few developments as well, which I won't go into because like spoiler territory and stuff, but there's been a few things developed from the town, how they're treating the family and the accusations that they've got for having this Tinks on the loose. We also have Laudie starting to believe certain things, and in all honesty, I don't know whether it's real or not. Like, I don't know whether it's a case a bit like You Let Me In by Camilla Bruce, where we have a character that due to her trauma is making up things, or at least that's what's argued in a book. So in this one, I mentioned it before as well, this is one of my favourite books, so anytime I can kind of link things back to it, I will talk about it. But we have a girl who is dealing with trauma, and she in her mind thinks it's to do with the Fae, and the book is structured in such a way that it could be real. It could be two different things. Now her therapist is trying to convince her, no, it's your parents, they're the ones that have been abusing you, Fae aren't real, that sort of thing. And she goes to them, well, why can't both be true? Genuinely, like, why can't both be true? And the book is done in such a way that as a reader you can make up your mind what is true or not. And I feel like it's a little bit like that in The Cat Bride, because there are things happening that you do question, and Laudie has her theory, and I'm just like, potentially this could be exactly that, but also it may not be, and it may just be the result of all of this trauma that Laudie has had to go through, that she's created this world to protect herself in. Like, we know she's obsessed with the white cat, that fairy tale. We know that every day-to-day things she puts back to being in a fairy tale. So it's so possible that that is what's happening, that it's I really like it. I love books like that where they really play around with what is reality and how it's done just enough that it could be possible that what they think is happening is actually happening, but also you question it because you don't know whether you can trust them as a narrator. So I really like that, and I think that's what's been developed a little bit more. We've had a bit more of that development for us to be able to question what is real. And again, this is not going to be for everyone because it has slowed down. You do have that slower moment while they discuss things like the trauma that the mum went through, how the grandma is, and how her reality doesn't seem to be rooted in our reality, but also possibly what if she's telling the truth and just nobody will listen, and as her daughter says frequently, she's just a crazy old lady. So how do you know? So I really like that. I think it's done well with just enough to argue for both sides of it, and I love a book like that. I'm really curious to see whether we're actually going to get a definitive answer or if it's going to be left up to us. I also like it when it's left, oh, I've just realised I haven't taken out any of my tops. We'll do that in a bit. Like, I took out all of my dresses. I'm only taking 3 dresses, but then I left my shorts, the 3 tops and the skirt I want to take. Realistically speaking, I'm only packing for 6 days worth of clothes, and I'm going away for, I think it's like 16 nights or something. So yes, there's a massive discrepancy there. However, I love Thailand's clothes. The last time I went to Thailand, I bought a few outfits while I was out there, and it's been a few years since I've been able to get any outfits. A lot of my clothes are from Thailand, so I want to go out there and get some more clothes. So I've intentionally packed a little bit less so that I have room to pack more of what I buy, and then I will wear those outfits while I'm out there. That's the idea. If not, we are staying at an Airbnb, so I can wash my clothes if I need to. So, you know, we'll see. But yeah, I've just realised I haven't pulled out half of my clothes. I pulled out one of the tops, the pink variation of this. We find a fairy tale that Laudie wrote herself, which is very reminiscent of the White Cat, which I did listen to. I did listen to that YouTube video and I really liked it. I thought it was really quite good. The version that a bit later was narrating has a slightly different ending to the ending that Laudie and her grandma were saying, so that's quite interesting. So I mean, that's like the normal with fairy tales, the endings and stuff will change over time. I'm also taking this. Honestly, I don't think I'm going to need this. It's corduroy little mini jacket, which is Sailor Moon. I love this just in case we're out of an evening and there's a little bit of a chill. I honestly don't think I'm gonna need this. It's always so warm in Thailand, but just in case. And then I'm also taking my Barbie one as well, which is one that I actually bought while I was in Thailand the last time we went, in case I want something to cover up my arm. I don't think I'm gonna need it, but I will do every excuse to take these on holiday because I love them. So why not? Yeah, honestly, I forgot half the things that I was needing to pack. That's not great. I'm also taking this bag with me because it's cute. That's going to be my bag while I'm on holiday. Other than that, it's just the usual. Oh, I'm thinking to take my big floppy hat. I loved this while I was in the Maldives, and I'm thinking to take it. I don't know, again, whether I'm going to wear this one or not. Thailand is warm, but where we're staying in Bangkok, it's normally really cloudy, so it's not normally like you've got loads of sun on you. However, I could be surprised, so I think it's better to take it just in case. I'm not sure if the Airbnb has a pool. I think it might. I know it's got a gym, so I think it's got a pool. I don't know. I should probably check. If it does, I'm going to take my swimming costumes with me, and then I've also just got to decide on these. I'm tempted. So these are just like little light things to cover my arms, just because I have tattoos, and some of the places we're going into, like the temples and the palace and stuff like that, they may ask me to cover up, so I will take some of these as well. But yeah, okay, I think that's actually, oh no, the books. Let me talk about the books that I'm taking on holiday. So I've got Lost in the Garden, which I'm very excited about. I think I'm going to have this one out, and this will be my flight book for the first set of flights, but the one that I'm packing is going to be Jurassic Park, so this one's going to be packed in the suitcase, and this will be the other book that I take. I'm also going to take my Kindle, but these are the two main books that I'm taking on holiday with me, so I just got to remember to keep that one out to pack that. And honestly, that's about it, because I think a lot of the stuff I'm leaving till last minute to pack, like my hair straighteners, things like that, that will all get packed in. You know what, I'm still really enjoying this book. It's, like I said, it's got a little bit slow in the middle. I'm going to hold off on whether I detract my rating from a 5-star until I've actually finished out this, because the ending could make it really, really worth it. At the minute, if I base it on just what I've read, I would say it's probably on the cusp of a 4.5 to 5-star, just because again, that middle bit has been a bit slower. There's been some interesting developments which I have liked, like I say, with the town and everything, but it has slowed down. So yeah, but I'm honestly, I think I'm gonna get this finished today. I'm loving it. Yesterday was such a relaxing day. I really didn't do too much, and yesterday's gonna be the same. Like, today is my birthday. I'm meeting my partner for lunch, and I'm gonna do a little bit of book shopping. The voucher from my dad arrived, so that's gonna be nice. I already know the books that I'm planning to get with it, and then honestly, that's about it. So I was thinking to myself, you know, I could edit and do things, but you know what, I'm going to take the day off from YouTube work, and I am going to instead finish out my book, play some Animal Crossing. Oh my god, yesterday I did so much Animal Crossing. I did do some editing, but a lot of the stuff I needed to edit was smaller, quicker things, so I actually got it done quite early. So I spent 3 hours on Animal Crossing yesterday. Oh my god, that's another thing I'm going to take is my Switch. I've just got to decide, am I going to take it on the plane, or am I going to just take the book on the plane? Because also in my bag for my rucksack that I want to have with me, I'm going to have my laptop with me, because I'm going to be editing at least one video while I'm on holiday, like the vlogs. I want to take my laptop with me. I think the charger and that will have to stay here, but I just there's something where I'm just like, I need to make sure my laptop stays with me. Same with my camera, things like that. So I feel like having a laptop, camera and a book and my Switch, it could probably get a little bit heavy, so I might just take the book. I'm not sure, because I'm probably going to sleep on the second flight anyway, because we've got a stopover flight. So the first flight is like 6 hours, and then we take our final flight, which is another 6 hours, and honestly during that flight I'll probably sleep. So it's only the first 6 hours, which could be some amazing reading time, although to be fair, my partner will probably want to play cards and stuff as well. So yeah, I think it will just decide on the day what I feel like doing. I'll either quickly chuck my Switch in here, or I will pack it in my backpack. So Animal Crossing, 3 hours yesterday. Oh, it was so fun. I created a swamp, and that's what took the longest, because I had to download the codes for it, and then I was doing it all, and oh, I love it. I might actually later today show you my island. It's going to be a bit of a weird one because I've only got it on the light, so it's a bit awkward to show you. It's not like I can screen record it, but I'm going to try and show you what I've been doing, because I've had so much fun with it. I was showing my partner yesterday, and I was like, look, you start here and this is there, and I had so much fun with it, and he was so sweet and entertained that, because he has zero interest in Animal Crossing but will happily actually listen to me talk about it. So yeah, so I did that. So I might do that to you as well. So you may get that in this video. But I think I have said all I really need to say about the books, and I need to go and get some actual more stuff to pack. So I'm gonna do all that, and I'll see you soon, probably to talk about my island, and then to wrap up this video and wrap up this. Like, I really enjoyed this. Like, I actually just got a comment this morning on one of my videos saying, once you go to horror, there is no turning back, and 100% you are correct. Like, I'm loving it, and I never thought I'd be a more literary horror person, but I'm really enjoying literary horror. I just love the things that you can do with it. My problem with literary books is that they're too cemented in the real world, whereas horror, literary horror, talks about those same topics but adds an extra element to it that is gothic, unsettling, eerie, a bit scary, and it works so well. I'm really loving it. So, and I love the fact that I can read this and be like, oh, I connect this to 3 other books that I really like, and yet it's still so unique in its own way. Oh, fantastic. It is so good. But yeah, so if you have any recommendations for horror books that are kind of like a bit whimsical, a bit gothic, that are kind of to do with fairy tales and stuff, then please feel free, put those in the comments below. I will definitely be getting to them. Yeah, this is just brilliant. I'm loving this so much. Gonna be so much fun to see at the end of the year my top books of 2025. Are they all just gonna be horror books? Because at this rate, it really looks like they are. How well this is gonna work because of like focusing and stuff, but I figured I would do a quick walk around my island because, you know, why not? I don't know why I always start here. I just think I see the Animal Crossing girlies do all of this where they start here, they build their first entrance here. I guess I just kind of copy that, but yeah. Anyway, I'm going for like a foresty mushroom theme. To this side, I haven't finished this area. This is going to be my house bit, and at the minute it's all just a bit of a mess, so that's fine. And then to this side here, I'm gonna be doing a pathway to another house and to this beach, but again, nothing's actually finished. We're just gonna ignore that side because it's not done. That's what you're gonna find a lot of this is like, oh, it's not done. And then we come up to here. This bit is like a little path I did. I need to decide what I'm doing around here, but this is what's going to connect to the other side of the island, but I haven't actually done anything that side, so again, we're going to ignore that. And then instead we'll go to resident services, because this is where I've actually done stuff. You've seen clips of this in other videos. I just have like this well situation with a little butterfly here, and then there's a little butterfly back there, which is like a bit awkward too, but like it looks cute. I like it. It's a nice little well situation. And then to the right I've just got like this little mushroom bit, nothing too much there, and then I added in this little seating bit, which is quite cute. And my camera battery is flashing at me, so maybe this is not going to be as long as I thought. But we have a little walking bit which connects round to resident services here as well. This I haven't actually finished. This is part of the island that I haven't done. And then the main bit though, the main bit that I wanted to share with you before my battery dies, I'm going to be putting a bridge here, that's why there's brick there. But it's this bit, I love it. This is the swamp that I have been working on, and I spent hours doing this. I really like it. I love this code. I just love how it all turned out. Like, I'm really, really happy with it. This is going to be a stunted tree, so I'm just waiting till it gets to the right height for me to put my fruit in there to stop it growing. But yeah, oh, I'm really, really happy with this. It took me hours and hours, and it's not finished because I don't have many items and things. Like, I still haven't even done the 3-star bit. I've just realized I've been moving this all over the place. But yeah, other than that, the only other things I'm working on is like a little pathway here. We're gonna have a bridge that goes across here to Able Sisters, and then that's gonna connect, I don't know what I'm doing here, no idea. And then that's gonna connect to the campsite, which is here. Honestly, these angles are shocking. You can tell I am not a game YouTuber at all, because like the angles of this are just, oof, I don't even know what I'm doing. But yeah, then we've got this little bit which I want to finish off the path here, and then we go across this bit, and this little island, this is where my museum's going to be. So like, if I show you on the map quickly, if my battery will allow me. So basically where I am over here, this bit here, this is where I want my museum to be moved to, and this is going to be like a museum island, and I need to sort out all of this area. The back bit is going to be all housing, but I'm going to knock down these lighter green bits and just have it flat there. This is my swamp area. And this bit is the side where I don't know what I'm doing. This little like corner bit here, not a clue, not a clue. But yeah, that is the progress. Did you need to see this? No. Am I happy I showed you? Yes. I finished it. I did really like this one. I'm stuck on a rating though, so I'm struggling between a 5 and a 4.5, just because of that little bit where it was a little bit meandering and slow. However, it does work. This was just such an interesting book. We really do look at trauma with not just Laudi and the trauma that she's experiencing from her mum, but also her mum talking about the trauma that she had from Laudi's grandma. But you get conflicting stories. You never know which one of them is actually real, and the ending of this book, you don't know what's real. This is not going to be an ending for everyone. If you're someone that likes everything tied up in a nice neat little bow at the end, you've got all your answers and things, this is not going to be the book for that at all. It doesn't give you that. Instead, there is a quote towards the end of the book that actually sums it up really well. It's talking about fairy tales and how they end, and this sums up the ending of this book perfectly. The fairy tales are also often unsatisfying. They are asymmetrical, confusing and obtuse. They leave out an awful lot, and they can end suddenly without tying up the loose ends. They split and fray, leaving questions drifting into the future, where you can only assume they are answered. And that is what this book does. That's how it ends. Like, not with that quote, but how it ends with the book in general is you do not get all of your answers. You can only assume that these certain things happened in this certain way. And you do not get an answer about what is actually true. There is a point in this book where we start to learn of Laudi's illness and what that potentially is. But again, we don't know how much of that is true or not. There is enough weight to this book for both sides. Is this a story of a young girl that is experiencing this syndrome, I don't want to give it away, but this syndrome that is tied to do with anxiety and things, which can be because of trauma and also severe isolation, which we know she experienced. So is it that, and it's her imagination running away with her, trying to protect her in this weird, unusual way, filling up a space that was left there? Or is it actually this family can turn into cats? Are they werecats? What is actually real? And there is just enough for all of it that you can kind of make up your own mind. I love the fact that you don't know if this is all just psychological horror or if there is more to it than that. I think the ambiguous ending works really well for this as well. I think if we had been given a set ending, I know lots of people would prefer that. However, I really like that it's left ambiguous, because I know when I go to reread this book, I can decide going into it, what one do I think is more real this time, and pull out what I want from it and things like this. Like, I know there is so much I could annotate, so much more. Like, this is very basic annotations and I already annotated loads, but that relationship, like I mentioned already, the really looking into Laudi's mum, Asta, does seem to have OCD, and how she sees her relationship with her mum, and the fact that Laudi's grandma appears to have dementia possibly, and lots of these different things where I'm like, you can really pull it apart and like examine every moment of this book. But at the same time, you could also just take it as this traumatic story that Laudi is narrating, and like she says, she doesn't know what's real and what's not. Towards the end, things get really twisted and bizarre, and it's also linked into growing up, like going through puberty, having your first period, all of that. that is a big thing in this as well. There's so many different things. It's about girlhood, it's about rage against boys, it's so much that you could take from this book, but it is very, very slow and it's not going to be for everyone. I do stand by the comparisons that I made. I think the village, the way the townsfolk people are, very much like We Have Always Lived in the Castle vibe, and then that relationship and things like it just... The books I've already mentioned, like I don't need to keep going over it, you've heard me talking about it, but yeah, this is good. This is gonna stay with me. This is probably gonna end up on my top books of the year for sure. Whether, I think this is like a case of it lasts forever and then it's over. This is a book that I gave 4 stars or a 4.25? Right now it's a 4.25. I think I originally gave it 4 stars when I finished it. Then I bumped it up to a 4.25. But this is a book I keep constantly thinking about, keep coming back to, and I feel like that's how it's going to be with The Cat Bride. Currently, right now, it doesn't feel like the full 5 stars, and I can't really put my finger on why. So I'm giving it the 4.5, but honestly, I think more time away from this book with my reflections and things, I do think it could go up. I feel like this is a good instance of one of the rare times I'd use a 4.75 because it is so close, but there's just something that's holding it back just a little bit. Yeah, I haven't actually used a 4.75 before, but I feel like this would be that. Other books that I've given 4.5 stars, I've been very happy with them being 4.5. I've not felt the need for that extra 0.25, but I feel like this is so close. I don't know what it is. It could have been moments where I was very tired when I was reading this book. It could have been a mixture of different things, but I know thinking about it, it's going to stay with me. So like this book is staying with me, and I feel like it's going to end up on my top books of the year, even though it's not a 5 star. I feel like it's going to be the exact same for The Cat Bride. Like, it's just so interesting and it combines so many elements of the things that I like, which I know already spoken about loads, but it really, really does. And yeah, I loved it. So I had to wear my cat dress in commemoration of The Cat Bride because we are wrapping up the video here, but I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. But again, is this a book I'd be recommending? I don't know. I feel like this is not a book I can recommend to everyone, but maybe if you've liked some of the other books that I've mentioned, then maybe give this one a try. Or like I said, if you're okay with that slower, more potentially psychological horror, not really knowing what's real and stuff, unreliable narrators and things, tied in with this fairy tale folklore, like it's in there a lot, then maybe this was for you. I feel really weird because I feel like a lot of the books that I've given 5 stars to, actually no, that's not true. I was gonna say a lot of them I wouldn't recommend to people. Actually, I think there are 2 books that I would just happily recommend to people, but The Lamb is one that I wouldn't recommend unless it's to like certain people. The same with like The Cat Bride, the same with It Lasts Forever and Then It's Over. Like, I feel like these 3 books are going to stick in my head forever, but they're not necessarily books that I would be recommending to people, but they are ones that are going to stay with me. Do with that information what you will. But before I actually officially wrap up this video, I want to talk about the books that I got yesterday for my birthday, and then I've also got 2 parcels to open, so I figured we'll do that all now. My dad gave me a book voucher and I got A Letter from the Lonesome Shore by Sylvia Catherall with that. This is book 2 in the Sunken Archive series. I'm really excited to read this. Like, I loved the first one so much, which is A Letter to the Lonesome Deep. I really, really enjoyed it. It was a very cozy fantasy, very slow paced. It's all done in epistolary format and it's just a really magical world, but it's very, very slow paced. But I really like it, and this is the second book that I'm going to be reading soon because it's going to be for the new releases video, which is coming out in the middle of June time. And then the other book I picked up, my partner actually bought this one for me for my birthday, which is Victorian Psycho by Virginia Fito. This is a book that I'm going to be reading soon, and we're following this governess who's going to be like the perfect Victorian governess, except maybe she's not, and things get a little bit weird, dark and twisted, and I'm very excited. It's only short. This is going to be read in June. Both of these are being read very soon, which I'm very excited about, but I do have 2 book parcels, so let's just open them up. Oh. Well, not fully there. Thank you so much. This is from Uniquely Right. I've been super busy, as you know, and haven't been able to watch your videos, but want to know that I will get to them soon, and I appreciate your creativity. Aw, thank you. Oh, this is a book I've had on my wish list for ages. So this is The Ballerinas by Rachel Kapilic Dale. This is a book I was intrigued by because I actually love books about ballerinas, not romance ones, thriller leaning books. I don't know what it is, but I absolutely love it. I think it's because I loved the film Swan Lake with Natalie Portman in it so freaking much that I always like the idea of finding a book like that. And this one, I think I put it on because it's slightly darker. So we're following Delphine, who abandoned her prestigious soloist spot at the Paris Opera Ballet for a new life in St. Petersburg, but then she returns to her former home and discovers that things have changed while she's been away and some secrets can't stay buried forever. We've got two different timelines. We've got the trio of dancers, their adolescent years, and then present day. Explores the complexities of female friendship, the dark drive toward physical perfection in the name of artistic expression. Really think I'm going to love this book. Like, I've been meaning to get it for ages. Like, I love it. I love the cover. I love the themes that it's exploring. So yeah, really, really excited. Again, this is a book I've not heard many people talking about, but I really am looking forward to this one. So thank you so much. That came off better. I don't know why, it always satisfies me if I can get it to go. Anyway, and again, I'm behind but happy reading, love. Thank you so much. That is so kind of you. What have we got? Ooh, oh. Look at that cover. I have to admit, I think this is a book I put on my wish list for the cover. So this is The Ghost Sequence by A.C. Wise. This is so interesting because it looks like a skull, but it's actually two girls. That looks really cool. A haunting is a moment of trauma infinitely repeated. It extends forwards and backwards in time. It is the hole the grief makes. It is a house built by memory in between your skin and bones. Ah, that sounds really good. I'm very intrigued. So we've got Stephen Graham Jones blurbed it. I've not actually read any Stephen Graham Jones, but I am intrigued by. I'm not really sure what this one is about, to be quite honest, but I am intrigued. Should we read the first sentence? How many people can say they were there the night the trick went wrong and the magician died on stage? Sounds pretty good. Honestly, I think I'm pretty sure I saw this in a video, was intrigued by the cover, the person enjoyed it, and so I stuck it on my wish list. But I haven't, again, this is another one where I haven't seen many people talking about it, so if you've read this one, then please do let me know what you think. I'm intrigued. I think this is awesome. This is great. This really works with how I've been enjoying my like horror, darker books lately. So this works perfectly. So thank you so, so much for that. But yeah, so those are the 4 books that I got. I'm really excited for all of these. So thank you so, so much. Yeah, that brings us to the end of this video. I hope you didn't mind the little Animal Crossing tangent thing that I decided to film, but I really am loving this island at the minute and I'm having so much fun with it, so hopefully you didn't mind that bit. But I guess if you didn't want to see it, you could have just skipped ahead. But yeah, anyway, okay, I'm going to stop waffling on. I've got things I need to get on with and do today. So if you've made it this far and just don't know what to comment, then of course we're gonna have to put a cat, any cat, in the comments below if you've made it this far and just don't know what to comment. I just want to say a massive thank you to all of you that do take the time to watch these videos. I truly appreciate all of your support, and an extra special thank you to all of my Patreons. Like, it's been amazing having all the support over there. It's been lovely, so thank you so, so much. And yes, that is everything. So if you have enjoyed this video, then please do consider giving it a thumbs up, subscribing and commenting. Those 3 things really do help this channel out. My social media links, anyone I've mentioned, Discord, Patreon, it's always linked below for you. And I will of course catch you in the very next video.